Hey everyone, this is Aditya from LightHaven. Today we're going to talk about a really simple way of learning the basics of the single knife. Now the subsystem we're going to talk about for today's video is something that we call the 5 attacks within the system of Pekiti Tirsia Kali. We're familiar with the 12 attacks or abecedario that most Filipino martial art systems have, but Pekiti has a slightly simplified way of doing things. It has a slightly smaller subsystem within it called 5 attacks. Now 5 attacks is more than just what I'm going to show you today. There are also some partner drills, there are also some applications, but for the sake of today we're going to stick to just the basic slashes within the system. One of the reasons why I really like this is because it can be done with almost any weapon in really small amount of space. Like I don't have so much space over here, but it's more than enough space for me to practice these attacks. Now the 5 attacks consists of 4 slashes and 1 thrust. These are not all the attacks in Pekiti, like I said before, but it's a really good place to start. I'm going to keep my weapon side in front, and now I'm going to imagine a clock in front of me. So 12 o'clock is in front of my head, 6 o'clock is in front of my groin, and my first slash is going to be 1 o'clock all the way down to 7 o'clock. The second slash is going to be 11 o'clock down to 5 o'clock. Now I want to make sure that I'm going all the way from 1, which is in front of my head, to 7, which is down here in front of my groin. Same up to down. I just don't want to be really tight over here. But I am using 1 o'clock and 11 o'clock rather than 2 o'clock and 10 o'clock or 3 and 9, because I want to, as much as I can help it with the knife, stay within my shoulders. I don't want these big attacks with the knife. I want to be more compact, and using 1 and 11 and 7 and 5 helps me to stay slightly more compact and tight. So again, I'm going to do the first 2 slashes, the diagonals, 1 to 7, 11 to 5. Now the next 2 are horizontals, 3 to 9, 9 to 3, and the last is going to be this low thrust that's going to go from low back up, right? So you can think of thrusting from 5 to 11, and then again I start 1 to 7, 11 to 5, 3 to 9, 9 to 3, thrust back up, 5 to 11. Another way of thinking of this is that the first 2 slashes are to the neck, the second 2 slashes are to the belly, so just a little bit below your belly button are to the belly, and the last thrust is a low thrust that starts from actually around about the groin and it ends up back here. Now the reason why we're having these big movements is because you want to develop full range of motion. In application, the cuts might be very small or they might be bigger. It depends on what you're trying to do in the context. But we want to be able to train for these big movements, because under pressure, when naturally these movements are going to become smaller, it's easier to go from big movements to small movements rather than the opposite. It doesn't work so well for us to try to go small movements to big movements under pressure. I can also flip my knife around into Pakal and do the same thing, except now I'm going to go thrust, thrust, and then the next 2 strikes are optional what you want to do with them. But the first 2 are going to be thrust, high thrust, high thrust. Now the next 2 can be thrust and thrust, or they can be slash and slash, or any permutation and combination of the thrust and slash. So I can go thrust and slash, or slash and thrust, or anything else. And the last one is going to be a low slash, again coming from down to up. So I'm going 1 to 7, 11 to 5, 3 to 9, 9 to 3, and back up again from 5 to 11. Now make sure that when you come up, whether you're coming up with the thrust or whether you're coming up with the slash, that the next attack comes back across center line to 1 o'clock, because you're going to end up at 11 o'clock, and if I just start from there, it will feel natural to just come straight back down from there again. I don't want that. The whole point of these attacks is I'm starting from one side of center line, the line that runs through my center, I'm ending up at the other side, then I'm starting from that same side, ending up on the other side. So I'm going across center line the whole time. Now once I've ended on this side, now I want to come back and start again. That's why the clock faces really help. They give you a good reference point so that you know you're doing the right thing. Couple of things to watch out for, whether you're using Saksak or this hammer grip, or you're using Pakal or this ice pick grip, know where your edge is, right? So if I'm doing Saksak and I'm cutting, know where your edge is, align your edge, know where the tip is, so when I'm thrusting, my tip is aligned. Same for if I'm using Pakal, know where your tip is at all times. If you're slashing, know where your edge is at all times. so you can train properly. And the last thing is that when I am doing this in Pakal, I would recommend not slashing down in this way. Simply because while the forehand might feel comfortable, the backhand is going to feel really uncomfortable. So an alternative could be you can slash down and then thrust down on from 11 to 5, or that backhand. You can slash down on the forehand and thrust down on the backhand. That's still okay, but I would not recommend trying to slash down on that backhand. And as usual with everything that we do single weapon, we're always going to work both right side and left side. So whatever you did on the right side, for as long as you train on the right side, please do the same thing on the left side. Just know that now the attack, the order of the attacks are going to be reversed. I went forehand, backhand, forehand, backhand, forehand on my right hand. When I go to my left hand, you're going to want to start with that backhand. It's very natural. Instead, make sure you start with the forehand again. So the forehand on the backhand is 11 o'clock. 11 to 5, 1 to 7, 9 to 3, 3 to 9, 7 to 1. Make sure you make that reversal properly. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you liked what you saw, if you learned from what you saw, please do like and share this video. If you have anything to add in the comments, or any questions or any suggestions, requests for videos, leave that in the comments down below. Please do subscribe to the channel. All of these things really do help out the school and the channel a lot. A huge thank you to all of our patrons and all of our YouTube members. Thank you guys so much for your support. If you'd like to know more about our Patreon page and our YouTube membership and the exclusive content that we offer there, check out the links in the description down below. Lastly, thank you guys for watching, and see you in the next video.